Instrumental motivation. This is the second type of motivation on which language learning or acquisition is based on. Instrumental motivation, defined as the desire to achieve proficiency in a language for utilitarian or practical reasons. So language is being used here for a purpose, for a practical reason, may also relate to proficiency. So if I need to work in an organization where English is being used as a language, then I have a reason to learn English. And that is a big motivation for me to learn the language, because I want to work in that particular organization. Otherwise, if I do not have any chance of working in an organization where English is spoken or used, then I am not motivated to learn the language, because it does not have a practical reason for me to learn the language. This type of motivation is called instrumental. It is because of a reason. Its presence will encourage performers to interact with L2 speakers in order to achieve certain ends. So, because there are certain goals, certain ends, and in order to meet those certain ends, L2 is required. If there is an organization where German is the official language and somebody wants to work in that organization, he will have to learn German in order to be available for work in that department. So that will be the instrumental motivation for the person to learn German. For the motivated performer, interaction for its own sake will be valued. For the instrumentally motivated performer, interaction always has some practical purpose. So, because this performer or the speaker or the acquirer would be speaking German or English according to the language being spoken in the office, he will be trying to use this instrument with other people in the organization in order to learn more and more language, because he knows that language will be only learned when it is spoken more. So he will try his best to increase his interaction with the people who are the speakers of German or English as L1. With instrumental motivation, language acquisition may cease as soon as enough is required to get the job done. So this type of motivation will only stay till the job has to be done. There are many examples where people learn French or German in Pakistan, and after their job is being done, they just forget about it, because now they are no more speaking the language anymore, because they are not having any sort of interaction with anybody, and they do not keep up to the requirements of maintaining the language competence, because the job is done. They have finished their project or work that they were doing with a foreign organization, and then they just forget about it, and therefore the acquisition that was made due to the interaction with the people who were speaking German or English as L1, now because there is no exposure, so they will be just forgetting about that language, and that motivation does not stay any longer. Also, instrumentally motivated performers may acquire just those aspects of the target language that are necessary. It means that if they are doctors, then they would be just learning the medical terms. The instrumental motivation for learning that language would be limited to medical terms only. If it is an engineer who is working in a department where English or German or French is being spoken, then he would be just learning the terms which are related to engineering, and that would be the motivation, because he needs those instruments as tools to be used while he is working there. At an elementary level, this may be simple routines and patterns, and at a more advanced level, this predicts the non-acquisition of elements that are communicatively less important, but that are socially important. So it will be according to the need of the person, how he really acquires that language. His language acquisition would be limited to the need. If he needs more of that language, he would interact more. If he needs less of that language, or he needs a limited set of that language, then according to the requirement, he will be using that. In some cases, probably it would be just the elementary language that he would be requiring. In order to work in that department, he would be needing just very basic language in order to use for the terms or to become socially important in that society or that organization. So the instrumental motivation is sort of a limited motivation, which is according to the practical purposes for the use of the learner.